Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki, Grantaraja Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Nitai Go Premanandi, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Narayanam namaskaritya nanam cheva narotalam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, chapter entitled Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. Text number 18. Atmatma japta griha vyeta janeshu saktair. Dushprapanaya gunasanga vivajitaya. Muktatma biswahridaye paribhavitaya. Jnanatvane bhagavate namo Ishvaraye. Atatma japta griha vita janeshu saktair. Dushprapanaya gunasanga vivajitaya. Muktatma biswahridaye paribhavatiya. Jnanatvane bhagavate nama Ishvaraya. Atmatma japta griha vita janeshu saktair. Dushprapanaya gunasanga vivajitaya. Muktatma biswahridaye paribhavitaya. Jnanatvane bhagavate nama Ishvaraya.
Atmatma japta griha vita janeshu sakte. Dushprapanaya gunasanga vivarjitaya. Muktatma biswahridaye paribhavitaya. Jnanatvane bhagavate nama Ishvaraya.
Atmatma japta griha vita janeshu sakte. Dushprapanaya gunasanga vivarjitaya. Muktatma biswahridaye paribhavitaya. Jnanatvane bhagavate nama Ishvaraya.
Atmatma japta griha vita janeshu sakte. Dushprapanaya gunasanga vivajitaya. Muktatma biswahridaye paribhavitaya. Jnanatvane bhagavate nama Ishvaraya.
Translation of purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My Lord, those who are completely freed from material contamination always meditate upon you within the cause of their hearts. You are extremely difficult to attain for those like me who are too attached to mental concoction, home, relatives, friends, money, servants, and assistants. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uncontaminated by the modes of nature. You are the reservoir of all enlightenment, the Supreme Controller. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Translation responsibly, my Lord. Those who are completely freed from material contamination.
Those who are completely freed from material contamination.
Always meditate upon you. Within the cause of their hearts. You are extremely difficult to attain. For those like me. Who are too attached to mental concoction. Home, relatives, friends, money, servants, and assistants. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uncontaminated by the modes of nature. You are the reservoir of all enlightenment. The Supreme Controller. I therefore offer my obeisances unto you. Purport. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes into the material world, he is unaffected by the modes of material nature. This is confirmed in Ishopanishad. Apapa vidam. He is not contaminated. This same fact is described here. Guna sangha vivajitaya. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears as an incarnation within this material world, he is unaffected by the modes of material nature. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9:11, Avajananti mamuta manushim tanum ashritam. Foolish men with insufficient knowledge deride the personality of Godhead because he appears just like a human being. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood only by the Muktatma, the liberated soul. Muktatma bi swahridayi paribhagataya. Only the liberated person can constantly think of Krishna. Such a person is the greatest of all yogis. Yoginam api sarvesham magatenam taratmana shwadavam bhajate yomam same utatamo matara. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Omagyan Timadandasya Ginanjina Shalakaya Chakshumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayan Didati Swa Badantikam Vanshaka Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuti Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. So I was listening recently, one devotee said to Prabhupada, how do we become Krishna conscious? Which is the most important question that we can ask. How do we become Krishna conscious? And Prabhupada just looked at him and he said desire. And he kept walking. Prabhupada just gave one word. But in that word is pregnant with meaning, which means there is unlimited meaning we can extricate from the word. It is only by desire that we become Krishna conscious. Right? If you have strong desire, you will become Krishna conscious. If you don't have desire, you won't become Krishna conscious. So sometimes devotees struggle in spiritual life. Hands up if you sometimes struggle in your spiritual life. No, some of you. So it means that if you're struggling in spiritual life, then we have to find the remedy quickly. Because Krishna consciousness cannot wait for another lifetime. Prabhupada's spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, said he expects all of his disciples to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. Right, so we all have to go back in this lifetime. Now Prabhupada made that easy. Because Prabhupada said if you just went 16 rounds a day, follow the 4 regular principles, you will go back to Godhead in this lifetime. Right, so Prabhupada has given us a guarantee. He's made it easy actually. Easy and not easy. Because most of the people in Kali Yuga find that difficult. But for those who can do it, right, it's actually the bar is at a reachable level. We can all do that. Right? Everyone here at least can do it. You have to cover your mouth. So we're at a reachable level. That means if we can do that, we can go back to Godhead in this lifetime. So if sometimes we're struggling in Krishna consciousness, that means we have to do something about it very quickly. Because you don't want to waste time, right, in devotional service. You want to get back to Godhead in this lifetime. It is possible. Right? And the best way to remedy if you're struggling in devotional service is to get fixed up association. Right? Sangat sanjayate karma. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Sangha. Sangha means association. Sanjayate karma. Karma means you can say lust, but more broadly we say desire. Desire. What did Prabhupada say? How do you become Krishna consciousness? How do you become Krishna conscious? Desire. Right? So where does desire come from? Sangha. Association. Who you associate with, that's the desire you will create or develop in your life. Right? If you want spiritual desires, you have to associate with spiritual people. If you want material desires, then just associate with material people. Right? Now these days, everyone can associate with whoever you want, whenever you want. That's the power of the internet. Right? I see some devotees have most devotees I can see, have their phone with them. Right? So then right there you have all the association you want, spiritual or material. So now we have to choose. Right? Because if you choose spiritual association, right, then you will develop spiritual desire. Right? So desire comes from association. Right? If you associate with the right personalities, you will develop Krishna conscious desire. Now actually Jiva Goswami says, because Nectar of Devotion says there are 5 most important items of bhakti. What are the 5 most important items? Right? Sadhu Sangha, Nama Sankirtan, right? Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vash, Srimurti, Shraddhaya Sevan. So Sadhu Sangha means you have to associate with devotees. Sadhus. Sadhus. You have to find sadhus. Who is a sadhu? What's the definition of sadhu? One who cuts. Well, that's why sometimes people don't like to associate with sadhus. The devotee will cut. What are your material attachments? The devotee will cut straight through. That's why sometimes people don't associate with the devotees, or they keep distant from the devotees, because the devotee will cut. What is this Maya? Prabhupada was very powerful. So when you went before him, you just cut. Take out the material desires. So if you go with the dance association, it will be like that. Sadhu Sangha, associate with sadhus. Actually, Jiva Goswami says, when he comments on those 5, in the Bhakti Rasa Rita Sindhu, those 5 main items of bhakti, he says Sadhu Sangha actually means advanced association. It means we associate with all the devotees. Any devotee, all devotees we associate with. But especially it means advanced association. You have to get advanced association. If you don't get advanced association, you won't advance. You only advance in your Krishna consciousness according to the association that you receive. Right? If you want to become a pure devotee, hands up, you want to become a pure devotee. Okay, 90%. So if you want to become a pure devotee, then you have to associate with pure devotees. You don't associate with pure devotees. How are you going to become a pure devotee? Not possible. So we're very fortunate because we associate with a pure devotee every day. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Right? Prabhupada actually said, is it interesting? Listen to Prabhupada's comment. Prabhupada said, my books are better than me. Prabhupada said that. Right? There's Prabhupada every day. Prabhupada said the purports are more important than the verses. That's also a very powerful statement. Right? He's talking about the Bhagavatam itself. He says, my purports are even more important than the verses. Because when you associate with it, you're directly associating with Prabhupada every day. Prabhupada said, the best of me is in the books. Prabhupada said that. He had so many comments Prabhupada made. So you can associate with a pure devotee every day if you want. Which means you can become a pure devotee if you associate with Prabhupada's books. And you have to also find pure devotees to associate with. Right? What's the definition of a pure devotee? According to Rupa Goswami, it means one who is free from material desires. Hands up if you're free from material desires. Very good, trying to be. Right, so none of us are free from, you won't find many devotees in ISKCON who are free from material desires. Right, something is there in the heart. But the definition of pure devotional service is one who does not act on his material desires. Then he's considered a pure devotee. Right? Tamal Krish Maharaj was working. Today is Tamal Krish Maharaj's Vyasa Puja. My Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja. We have a program in the theatre today, so if you want to come, you're welcome to join us. So Tamal Krish Maharaj was walking with Srila Prabhupada in 1968. This is like early days of ISKCON. Right? Well, going on in the morning. Tamal Krish Maharaj said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are there on the planet? Prabhupada said, how many devotees are there in ISKCON? Back then there was 80 devotees. That was ISKCON, 80. Now how many? 1 million plus. Right? A lot. Now there's 1 million devotees. So many devotees. But back then only 80 devotees. But Prabhupada said they are pure devotees. Why? They have material desires, but they're not acting on them. Therefore they're considered. So they're the devotees you want to associate with. Right? If devotees are acting on their material desires, then okay, we offer respect in the mind, Rupa Goswami says, but you don't associate closely. Right? But if someone's not acting on their material desires, they're considered pure devotee. Prabhupada gives the example of the mango. Mango can be green or ripe. They both are valuable. When they're ripe, they're so delicious. You can eat hundreds of them. Prabhupada said they're king of fruit. Mango. Prabhupada very much like the mango. But in the green, when they're unripe, paka means ripe. And what's not ripe? Is it apaka or something?
Kacha.
Kacha. Okay, so kacha. You have paka and kacha. So kacha means not ripe, the green mango. But that is valuable also. Hey, you have to cover your mouth. What's everyone doing this? You're in front of Krishna. You don't just stare and go, well, it's not. Think. Right? You're in the temple room. It says in the Nectar of Devotion, do not sleep in front of the deity. Right? This is not etiquette. Right? Don't do it like that. So, paka means the ripe mango is very valuable. The green mango is also valuable. Why? We make the pickle, chutney, acha. It's very, very nice. It has a lot of health benefit. So both are valuable. Right? Ripe and green. So it means the pure devotee or the becoming pure devotee, both are valuable. You will get purified. You'll get purified. So we have to find pure devotees to associate with. Because then you will develop spiritual desires. Right? And your desire is what will take you back to Godhead. You can go back to Godhead right now if you want. Which means you can become Krishna conscious in one moment. That's what Bhagavatam teaches. Katwanga Maharaj, how long did it take for him to become pure devotee? 1 moment. Right? They said to him, you're about to die. And he said, oh, okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Pure devotee, 1 moment. Give everything to Krishna. That's all you have to do at the time of death. Sachinandan Swami, my Shiksha Guru, I heard him say a number of years ago, he said, if at the end of your life you just say to Krishna, Krishna, I am yours, you will go back to Krishna. Okay? So, we have to become pure devotee. And that depends on our desire, and our desire depends on our association. So whoever you associate with, you will become like that. So you have to choose your association carefully, right? Amongst all the devotees, right? Since I joined the movement, I always choose. I look amongst all the devotees, I think, wow, look at that devotee, I want to become like him. So I try to get association with that devotee. Like my godbrother, Rupa Raghunath Prabhu, you know? Rupa Raghunath Prabhu, I think many of you know. Yeah, what's that? Yeah, he was a new governor. He comes down here periodically, so he's very serious devotee, very Krishna conscious devotee, very fixed. So when I joined the movement, I heard one lecture, my Guru Maharaj was speaking, and he initiated Rupa Raghunath. And he said that, what did he say? He said, he is so enthusiastic, he even scares me. Tamal Krish Maharaj said that, and Tamal Krish Maharaj is very enthusiastic. He said, here's what he said when he initiated. He said, so enthusiastic, he even scares me. He's so enthusiastic. So I thought in my mind, I want to meet this person. I want to associate with this person. I'd never met him before. So then we went to the festival at New Govardhan in 1989. We used to have a big festival. Everyone would come, all the temples would come. It's very nice. We don't do it anymore. It's a shame, but we used to do it. We'd all come together from all the temples. And big festival from Christmas to New Year every year. We have big Rath Yatra. It's nice. So we got there, and then I asked the devotee, I said, which one is Rupa Raghunath Prabhu? And then devotee said, that's him. So then he didn't realise I started to stalk him. He didn't know. But then we went to morning program. We had Mangalarti, and then we had Guru Puja, and then we had class. Then after class, everyone went to have prasadam. So I was behind him. I was walking behind him like that. And then when he sat down, I said, can I sit next to you? He didn't realise that I was following him. I said, can I sit next to you? And he said, yeah, you sit. So I sat, and I said, my name's Bhakta Kal, and I want to take initiation from Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And he said, I'm initiated by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. I said, I know. He didn't know that I knew, but I knew that, So I said, and then I just associated with it. And then he took me under his wing, and he's one of the devotees, him and Atul Krishna Prabhu, who you also know, very fixed up devotee. They took me under their wing because they were strong in bhakti, in devotional service. Their desire was strong. So I associated with them, and then I also became more fixed, more serious in bhakti. Right? So you have to choose your association very carefully. Right? Because if you associate with a microphone that keeps falling down, you will also fall down. But if you associate with a microphone that does not fall down, you will also become fixed in devotional service. It's a fact. Our association is what we become. Right? So that's why it is saying here, right, that association is the most important thing. And it's called desire. Prabhupada said one word. How do you become, devotee said, how do you become Krishna conscious? Prabhupada said desire. Kept walking. Right? That's enough. That one instruction. We just follow that for the rest of our life. We'll go back to Krishna. You want to go back to Krishna? When? When do you want to go back? This lifetime. This lifetime we have to go back. It takes time. It takes time. My Guru Maharaj said to me one time, he said, if you stick at something, eventually you will attain it. And if you read Servant of the Servant, Tamal Krishna Maharaj wrote that very nice book, Servant of the Servant. Many of you may have read it. There's one chapter called The Forward Soldier. And Prabhupada, he said that devotees have to be forward soldiers. Because Prabhupada said when you join ISKCON, you declare war on Maya. You're in a war now. Do you like war? You don't like? Do you like? Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I kind of do too. I like battles. I like defeating the enemy in soccer, right? Or table tennis. You come to the farm, I'll defeat you in anything. So we like that. We like that spirit. We like to fight. Hare Krishna. Hey, come down. Not there. Yeah. That's okay. Just come down. So we like that spirit. Right? That spirit is we have to fight for Krishna. Prabhupada says when you join ISKCON, you declare war on Maya. So Maya is, right? She is the enemy. She's trying to take us away from Krishna. Her name is Parvati. Parvati is Lord Shiva's wife, Durga. Right? She's very powerful. She rides on the lion, like we ride in a Nissan. Or Kia, or Mercedes-Benz, or whatever you ride it. She rides on, imagine someone pulls up in the front of the temple on the lion, gets off, and she's got a trident. Right? Everyone's like, whoa, who is this one? Right? This person is powerful. So this is Durga, very powerful. The reason she rides the lion, because it symbolizes victory. In other words, and she has the trident. You know, the trident means the spear has 3 prongs. So the spear, the reason she has that is because that represents, she controls all of us with the 3 gunas. Goodness, passion, ignorance. Right? She's got all of us because we're all in the modes. Time, past, present, future, she has all of us. We're all locked in time right now. Klesha, Adi Baltic, Adi Atmik, Adi Davik, right? Sufferings from your mind and your body, from others, and from Devata, right? So she has us, we're all suffering from that. So it means you're declaring war against her. So that's not easy. You know, you're saying to her, I'm getting out of this material world now. And she says, no, you're not. I'm keeping you here. Just puts the trident on it. The lion steps on you and holds you. So you see sometimes she's riding the lion and there's one demon underneath the lion and the lion's holding it. Right? So that's us. Right? We have demoniac tendency. And when you have demoniac tendency, she's got you. Right? She's holding you like that under the lion. So therefore, we have to become, our desire has to become very strong. And if our desire becomes very strong, then Krishna will liberate us. Krishna will say to her, hey, let go. And she says, okay. If Krishna says let go, she says okay. Because Krishna is the boss. Yeah, Parameshwara. Ishwara, Parama, Krishna, Satchit Ananda, Vigraha, Anadya, Adya, Govinda, Savakarana, Karana. Right. Krishna is the supreme boss. When he says let go, everyone says okay. So then she says, okay, Krishna says, let go. This devotee, let go. She says, okay, and then you can go back to Godhead. Right? So this is desire. Right? She has so much power. We declare war on her. We can't win the battle. I can't defeat Maya. It's not possible because she's too powerful for me. But if I take shelter, my desire is I will not let go of the lotus feet of my guru. I will not let go of the lotus feet of Prabhupada. I will not let go of the lotus feet of the deities, Radha Vallabha, Gaurnitai, Jagannath, Balaram. Then you'll go back up to God. So Prabhupada said you have to become a forward soldier. Forward soldier means in the battle, in this material world, sometimes you take hits. You ever feel like that? Sometimes difficult in this material world. Sometimes you're trying to go back to Godhead, but then some big challenge comes to you in your spiritual life. But you have to fight that challenge, or go around it, or go under it, or go through it, or whatever you have to do, whatever methodology you need. And then you have to keep going forward. That's all we have to do. We take hits, right? And sometimes we fail, sometimes we step back and we make some mistake. But we always have to keep going forward in our Krishna consciousness. Right? So Prabhupada said you have to become forward soldier. Right? Then you will get back to Godhead. So it means your desire has to be strong, because Maya will test you. Hands up if Maya has tested you. Okay. A few devotees. Maya has tested. I remember I met Burujam Prabhu in 1993. I was travelling, Burujam Prabhu is my Shisha Guru. So I was travelling through Vrindavan. We're on the way to Africa. I was brahmachari, when I was living here in the ashram. And myself, Atal Krishna Prabhu, Tradish Prabhu, Peter, we went to Africa to collect some money to send back to the temple, to keep the temple running. So we're brahmacharis, that was our seva. So we're on the way to Africa, we went through Vrindavan. So we stopped, we got to Delhi. We thought, okay, we're in Delhi, let's go to Vrindavan for 3 days. So we went there 3 days. So I saw Burujam Prabhu. I was having darshan with him. And then he said to me, he said, Krishna will test you. And he said, Krishna will take everything from you. Sometimes you might, anyone felt like that? Like Krishna takes everything from you? Do you feel like that sometimes? Yeah. So he said, Krishna will take everything from you, he will test you. And I was 24 at the time. So, it was just a fresh young brahmachari. I was just looking at him, smiling. And he said, it hasn't happened to you yet. So some of you, when I said, if you've been tested by mine, some of you, it hasn't really happened yet. But it will come. It will come. And you just stick around. Maya has some good tests for you that are coming. Big tests, they're coming. So, best way to avoid Maya is to become a brahmachari or brahmacharini. That's the best way. Prabhupada said that is the best. Of all the ashrams, he said brahmacharini is best. Or you can say brahmacharini. Brahmachari is best. Right? Actually, there were no brahmacharinis before Prabhupada. There's no word in the Vedas, brahmacharini. But when Prabhupada began ISKCON, he saw the Madhajis were very enthusiastic. The first time Prabhupada did Brahman initiation, what we call second initiation, in ISKCON, it was only for the men. Right? He gave second initiation to the men. And then the Madhajis, about 5 or 6 of them, they came to Prabhupada and they said, Prabhupada, we're not going to stay if you're going to give to them and not to us. And Prabhupada said, oh, okay. Because the Madhajis never got second initiation in Vedic history. So Prabhupada next day he did Jagya for them. Right? He gave them Brahman initiation. Because Prabhupada had to adjust time, place, circumstance. If I don't give the Madhajis equal opportunity, this movement is not going to spread. Right? So then Prabhupada gave second initiation. He didn't give the Brahman thread, because that might have been too controversial with these god brothers and so forth. But he gave them the second initiation. Right? He gave them the opportunity. So actually, there was no brahmacharini ashram. They did not, but Prabhupada saw, if I don't give them that facility and allow them to advance in Krishna, they will go away. So then, now in ISKCON we have brahmacharini ashram, brahmachari and brahmachari. So Prabhupada said, brahmachari life is best, or brahmacharini life, it is best. Because it is simple, it is uncomplicated. You only have 3 bags. What are the 3 bags? Japa bag, book bag, sleeping bag. That's brahmachari life. Right? 3 bags. That's it. It's very simple. It's good life. Right? I was brahmachari for 8 years. It's very powerful because even now I'm still being carried in my devotional service by those 8 years as brahmachari. Right? It gives you momentum. Right? So then someone might say, well, I didn't have the opportunity to be brahmachari or brahmacharini. I didn't have that opportunity. My Guru Maharaj said in one lecture, he addressed that. He said, then you have to catch up. You have to make up time. You know, if you come in and you're already married, and sometimes you come in and you already have kids, then you have to live like brahmachari, brahmacharini for a period. Right? You have to be very fixed, very locked in your devotional service. And then you will make up for that time that you were not able to live in the ashram. You know? So this is the best life. Right? It is brahmachari, brahmacharini life. However, most of the devotees cannot do that for their whole life. Right? They can do it for a period, but most need to go into Grihastha ashram. Grihastha ashram is the principal ashram in Kali Yuga. Right? It's actually the principal ashram in every yuga. But in Kali Yuga, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Grihastha ashram is a very good position for the Vaishnavas. Because it is safe ashram. Right? It means if you have some material desire, you can fulfill that within a regulated environment, and then you can still advance in your Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada actually said to Umapati Swami back in very early days of ISKCON, maybe 1966-67, he said Krishna consciousness means the middle path. He said not too much renunciation and not too much attachment. That's how we advance in Krishna consciousness. Because if you're too renounced, most devotees cannot maintain that. So don't be too renounced. Don't give up things too artificially, because then you'll fall back to it. Krishna says mithyacha. You'll fall back. You'll be a pretender. So we don't be too renounced, but we also don't be too attached. Because if you're too attached, you can't advance in Krishna consciousness either. So you have to get like the middle path. So Gajendra, he's praying to Krishna. When do we pray to Krishna? We pray to Krishna quite often when we're going through something difficult. Oh, Krishna, please protect me. Please save me. If you're going through something very difficult, who do you call? Krishna, that's good. That's good. That's the right answer. Make sure it's Krishna, because sometimes you call someone else. Don't always. In your heart, your mind, you might take shelter somewhere else. Prabhu said this one time. He said, when you're going through a difficult situation, see where your mind takes shelter. Right? What your attachment is. Right? It has to be Krishna. Right? If we're going through difficulty, you want to meditate on Krishna, because he's the only one who's going to save you anyway. Like Ajamil, who did he call when he's going through a difficult situation? Narayana. Right? Prabhupada said it might have been his son or it might have been Narayana. He might have been calling out Narayana or he might have been calling his son. It was one of the two he was calling. That's why Prabhupada explains in that section in Canto 6, you should give your kids devotional names. Because then that's the advantage. Right? You say, if your son's called Narayan, you say Narayan, Narayan. Right? So then even if you're thinking of your son, that you're getting the benefit. That's why we get spiritual names when we take initiation. So, this is what Gajendra did. Right? He was going through that difficult situation, but he called out to Krishna. And then who looked after him? Krishna, or Vishnu in his case, because he was Vaikuntha Bhakta. So he called. So these prayers are very famous prayers. And there's actually in Prabhupada's Leela Amrita, it's also a significant time, because when Prabhupada was translating this part of Bhagavatam, one of his sannyasis had a fall down. Right? Madhudwiza Prabhu, who actually was the Jiva, he actually brought this temple we're sitting in now. Right? Did a lot of service for Prabhupada. But he was sannyasi, right? And he could not maintain, he was young. I was listening the other day to one of Prabhupada's disciples, Bhagavan Prabhu. He said, when Prabhupada left the planet, we were 30 years old. And then we had to become gurus. Imagine, 30 years old, you only been a devotee for 10 years. Suddenly you're the guru of France, Germany, England, imagine that. It's a big responsibility. Right? So Prabhupada said that when there's a war, say a war breaks out now, you just grab anyone. You say, okay, you're a captain, you're a lieutenant, right? You're a corporal, you're a colonel, right? And maybe even someone you make a general, right? It's a war, so you just grab anyone, hey, do this, do that. So Prabhupada said he didn't know how much time he had. So he had to give sannyas. Prabhupada said, I knew they would not maintain it. Now, if you look at the history, I think it was only like 50% of the sannyasis actually went through. The other few were too young. Imagine you had to take sannyas, you're 28 years old. No, that's not easy. Right? It's not easy taking sannyas when you're 60 years old. What to speak of when you're like 28. And Prabhupada, no, come on, go and preach. And everyone was enthusiastic. You listen to the lectures, you listen to Prabhupada's lectures at the end, when Prabhupada finishes the class, everyone goes, Jai Prabhupada! That was this kind of the 70s. It was like this warrior kind of mentality. It was like this army mentality. And the movement spread like anything. Because Prabhupada was encouraging that movement. Come on, everyone. Together, we'll march. Prabhupada said, we are spreading like wildfire. Have you seen the video where Prabhupada's circumambulating Radha Madhava in Mayapur? And he goes around. And every time he comes around, he rings the bell. Right? And you see Prabhupada comes and rings the bell. He just stands there and goes, do it. And all the devotees just start jumping. It's like an army. Everyone's just like that's how it was. And that's how Prabhupada had to create that to spread ISKCON. So when you join ISKCON, you declare war on Maya. Right? But we have to do it, we have to be forward soldiers. We have to go forward gradually. Right? Make sure always go. And Grihastha ashram is the most common ashram, so it means that we have to be not too much attachment, not too much detachment. Right? And then you'll become successful in your Grihastha life. And then you can be like a Gajendra. When there's difficulty, you can call out to Krishna. So we'll stop here. Any questions or comments? in this material world of birth and death. Yes, Prabhu.
Hey, Prabhu Hare Krishna. You mentioned about being a forward soldier. Sometimes it is seen from the history and as well as current time that sometimes the soldier loses the intensity, and then the other walks away from the path or joins a different path, or he may just stick there. So what could be the factor? Is it like a personal, we should see it as a personal, or we should see it as our failure, that maybe we didn't do well in supporting that person? And at the same time, whether that person, what should that person see, that is it my failure, is it that I couldn't do it, or is it that, oh, somebody didn't help me?
Yeah, good question. Good question. Srila Prabhupada said 50-50. He said when someone goes away, 50% is our fault and 50% is their fault. Right? Because they walked away, so that's their fault. But did we do everything we needed to do? Right? I was listening the other day, and then Prabhupada went to Hawaii, and Gaura Sundara Prabhu, who was one of his early disciples, he left. So Prabhupada flew from one island of Hawaii to the other island to find him, and he went to him, and Prabhupada, he had tears in his eyes. He said, did I not do enough? Or is it, I did not? You know, why did you leave? And it's obvious that it wasn't Prabhupada, but that was Prabhupada's mood, 50-50. So we have to take both of them. Many years ago, someone asked Tamal Krishna Maharaj this question. He said, why do people leave? And there's many answers. You know, there's not one answer why people leave, but there's many answers. But one thing he said, which was very striking, which I always remember, he said, if someone leaves, it means they did not sufficiently cultivate their relationship with Krishna. Because if you love Krishna, hands up if you love Krishna. So how are you going to leave him? Do you leave someone you love? Do you leave someone you love? Oh. So if you love him, you can't leave. Right? Even you go through so many difficulties, but you can't leave because it's Krishna. So that's one reason why someone leaves. It means they didn't have enough attachment to Krishna. Maybe it was some external thing or something. Okay. But it's 50-50, we should see it that way. Yeah. We could have always done better, isn't it? If someone leaves, you think, oh, I should have given more, I should have done more. Good question.
Yeah, thank you.
Please come again.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In the verse it says that it's if we still have attachments, it becomes harder to approach Lord Krishna. But we see when we come to the temple, we participate in the kirtans, in the lectures, we feel extreme bliss. So when we get rid of those attachments, will that happiness become different?
I don't understand what's that.
So how do we understand, like, when we get rid of the attachments, does that happiness become different?
Yeah, well, the less attachments you have, the more bliss you're going to feel. Like, if you're feeling blissful now, and you know that you still have some attachments, imagine how much bliss will you feel if you give up those attachments. Imagine that. You feel even more blissful. That's how we feel. So Krishna consciousness makes you feel blissful. Material attachments make you feel miserable. Like we were in Vrindavan a few months ago, and Prahlad Swami was giving class. You know Prahlad Swami? He's very funny. So he's giving class, and he said, you know, we have this saying in English, she loves me not, she loves me, you know that? So he's giving class, he said, she loves me not, she loves me not. And he goes, she doesn't love you, and she never did. Because that's the material world, right? But we have attachment, we think, oh, she loves me, or he loves me, or like that. That's our attachment. When you give up that attachment, you become more blissful. You think that Krishna loves you, then you become more blissful. Or you think if your wife or husband loves you, then you think they love me as Krishna's devotee. As Krishna's devotee, not as the object of my sense gratification. Does it make sense? Please come on.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. Beautiful practical class, thank you so much. I was connected that I remember Prabhu's question that you answered. You said 50-50, but at last you gave the answer 100% because if you love someone, you don't leave. Right? So if the person leaving, complaining, they didn't do well, that's, I think, in many classes people say, only we have to take the responsibility. We can't say others didn't do because I will do it. Right? We have to take the responsibility. Is that right?
No,
Like I can't leave this place
Prabhupada said 50-50.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so it means, if you treat the devotees properly, they're not going to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
We always.
What if we treat the devotees so badly, right, that they don't want to come to the temple anymore? And then they leave. That's our fault. Because they're just new in their bhakti, so it might be too much of a test for them. Someone who's advanced in Krishna consciousness, they won't leave, but others who are fresh, it might be too much. So Prabhupada said 50-50.
Beginning, for the beginners.
50-50 for beginners.
For others.
Advanced devotees will never leave.
Yeah.
They'll just go to a different temple.
And my question is that you said that anytime our goal is to become pure devotee and go back, but even here, if you become pure devotee, you are living in Goloka, not like does that be going back? You can hear and enjoy the same place. Is it possible?
If you have prema, yes. Prema is like advanced event. Last night we were studying Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya's teaching, where Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya discussing, it's very advanced bhakti. It's very advanced bhakti. Yeah, if you are that advanced, you can be with Krishna even in this world, like Prabhupada was. But that's very advanced.
We are happy here.
So what's your problem? Just be happy.
So going down here is the same?
Hare Baba, whatever is good for you, just do it.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. Shil Prabhupada ki? Priya.